Hi, Kathy Burrus here from Green Hope Coaching with Kathy Burrus. And I'm here today to talk to the married or the marriage-minded, men or women. And if you don't think that's you, I hope that you'll keep listening because there's probably someone in your world you would love to share this information with. So hang on. Ren and I speak not as couples who have got it all together, because we don't. We've been married 36 years. We've faced just about every situation that a couple will face. We've wrestled with the hard issues. We've done our homework, we've read the books, we've looked at the issues from every direction as well as the solutions. And most of the time we've worked on practicing what we've learned. Most of the time. We've worked hard to have the kind of relationship that we long for, to become one. Well, we're getting ready to launch two groups, one for men, one for women, on September 13th, regarding sexuality and intimacy. And so we're looking for what the issues are that really stand out in the minds of the people from the Green Hope Coaching community. So recently I sent out a survey and I asked a question, one question, and the question was this: what two questions do you have from your own marriage that we need to cover in a course about intimacy, specifically sexual intimacy in marriage? Well, I was amazed at the responses. Not because they were new, because they're not really. I mean, we've been exposed to this topic for a long time, and we know people who have taught on this topic for a long time, and some of them have traveled, internationally. And the amazing thing that they say when they come back is, we all have the same questions. The women ask the same questions. The couples ask the same questions. No matter where we live, we have similar issues. So it's not that these were new questions. But the amazing thing to me was the depth of heart that I heard in each of these questions from each of these people that responded. Mostly women. There were some men there too. But here are some of the examples. Why does one partner never want to have sex? Or why does one partner always want to have sex? Isn't there always two sides of that coin? How can you get your partner to open up to what he or she really desires? Another one is, how can I communicate to my husband that if he really desires sex, I need to have intimacy and positive verbal communication? I know that one's happened at our house sometimes. Will you talk about the effects of pornography on marriage? It always comes up. What does a godly marriage look like? What's realistic for me to expect? One woman wrote, what do you do when you don't know what to do? What do you do when you don't know what to do? Well, it's been fascinating to think about and to ponder what it looks like when you're talking to a group of people who are all different and yet not. So as we're looking at these groups getting ready to start, what we're trying to encourage couples to be in the groups. Husbands to take part in the men's group, women to take part in the women's group, because as we study things from material that thinks like a man or thinks like a woman and helps us understand our own perspective, then we're able to better share, especially if we're both doing it at the same time. We're able to share with our partner and we're able to grow. The transformations can be powerful when we're both working on it at the same time. So within the questions, one of the things that we noticed is so often we tend to have this awareness that if the other partner would do their thing, then I could do mine. If he will, I will. If she will, I will. I'll be able to respond better if they do what they should do. Now, this is valid in that there is something the other person could do, but what happens if you keep throwing your thumb over it the other way? You keep saying, if they do, and then they're doing it to you, then nothing happens, right? Nothing happens. And people say, well, better nothing than going downhill. Well, let me tell you, if you don't do anything, you're going to be going downhill. And sometimes it's faster than you think, and it'll be totally out of your control. So, what if right now you make a choice? And it really does start with that. It starts with you choosing to do what you can do. And that's what you do. Ask yourself the question, what can I do? Not out of hopelessness, but out of curiosity, out of a desire to see, what is it that I can do? What can you do to have the marriage you long for? Where do you have the possibility of making a difference? What power do you have to create the change you want? You know, I'm not just talking to couples here that are desperate in some way. I'm talking to the couple who has a good marriage. You know, you've worked hard at it. You're doing okay. You're still two people in a marriage. Two people trying to build a relationship. So many times we still have misunderstandings that come up. We still make assumptions of one another. We sometimes become complacent. And sometimes that's what hinders us. That's what stifles the growth that we really want. So Rennie and I want to offer something to couples to help get them talking. Talking about what they can do to have a deeper and more fulfilling relationship. And a little tool that we've used is called a relationship wheel. Now, you know, with the tires on a car, if your tire goes flat in just one little spot, it affects the whole car, right? And if you don't pay attention to that little spot on that tire, then the whole car comes to a stop eventually, or else you've completely ruined the tire and the rim and all that. I've learned that from experience, sorry to say. Long ago, though. So in the relationship wheel, you're kind of doing the same thing. You're identifying where are the spots that are not doing so great that we need to pay attention to now so that our marriage wheel, our relationship wheel, can actually turn more effectively. Sometimes it feels like it's a really big deal when it really only needs a little tweaking. It needs a little bit of air just to get going, just to be in the round again. Sometimes one partner thinks that the wheel's doing fine, and the other part of the couple thinks that there's something that's not quite comfortable, or maybe even they're miserable at it and they've just never told you. It's a simple tool for an important conversation. How are you doing? Now, I've heard all kinds of excuses regarding why not to have that talk with your spouse, whether it's sexual or otherwise. You know, what if I do and she doesn't, or I do and he doesn't? Okay, there is a risk. You know, every relationship has some degree of health or unhealth to it. There's no secret formula to say it's going to do this and it'll work. But there are proven principles that can help bring about the kind of change you want. But if you don't do something, there's no chance of that happening. You know, I've also heard couples say, or individuals within a marriage say, what if it's not going as well as I think? So, I don't want to know. Or what if we try and nothing happens? Or what if it just gets harder as we try to work things out? Yeah, what if? But what if it's actually better than you think? What if you try and things actually do get better? What if? What if it gets hard for a little while, but then, because you've done the hard work, you begin to enjoy each other again. You begin to find ways to build into each other again. You begin to experience a love, maybe like you've never had before. What if then? Huh? There is a saying that if one partner in a marriage does their 50%, though I question whether that's actually a right percentage, but if one partner does 50%, it makes more than 50% of the difference. What if you could make more than 50% of the difference in your marriage? What can you do? Will you make that choice right now to ask yourself that question? What can you do? For starters, you can sign up right now for the relationship wheel. I don't know where it is in relation to this video, but give us your name and your email address and we'll send it to you. And then print 2 copies off, one for you and one for your spouse. And take some time alone to work through the conversation. Take some time to look at the relationship wheel and decide where in your marriage are there issues that you think you need to address. And then plan a date night and have the conversation. Start the conversation anyway. If you need some help, that's what Ren and I do. We'd love to help you have the great marriage you want. Now that you've made the choice to do something and you've asked yourself the question, what can I do? Congratulations. That's the first next step to having the relationship you long for. Now, I know this one exercise is probably not going to change your life forever, but there's lots of things we can keep doing. So in our next video, which is going to be in a couple of days, we're going to be offering, and hopefully Rennie will be able to join me, we're going to be offering some more ways that we can work to continue to grow our relationship. We'll probably have a list of some resources and things available, but I'll tell you all about it in the next video. All right? So for now, give us your name, your email address, and we'll send you the relationship wheel so you can get started. And you'll also get more information about the next video. All right? Your marriage is worth a lot. Not just because of you and the closeness that you want with your mate, but because of the powerful difference that the 2 of you together can have on the world around you. Sign up below. And remember, your great marriage starts with you.